Today, we're in Judge David Fleischer's Zoom court out of Harris County, Texas. This video is the first installment of Fun Court with Fleischer. I aim to release a video every weekend with the most interesting cases Judge Fleischer sees during the week. This week we have 12 cases that highlight Judge Fleischer's approachability and thoroughness in handling lawyers and their clients. At very least, his, at times, very demonstrative personality makes for some amusing court action.
All right, let's roll, nerds. Casanova.
How you doing today?
Happy Friday. All right, coming up, Mr. Diaz. You speak English, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Diaz, I don't know why we have you in custody. Well, I'll tell you now.
Yes, sir.
You, with us, have picked up a possession of a controlled substance. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. What I see is that you are now also on felony probation for possession of a controlled substance. It looks like they've issued a warrant. You're set at no bond on that case. So we have to take you into custody. I can't let you go with a felony warrant. So what'll happen is you will probably roll up on Monday's docket in felony court, and then assuming you have a lawyer, they'll help you out upstairs. So regardless, we're going to do probable cause in our case. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. I will also appoint you a lawyer this morning.
Yes, sir. I just got done talking to my, he's on his way, actually.
Who's your lawyer?
Robert Vegas. I just got done here talking to him before he pulled me in the room.
Okay, we're gonna do probable cause, and then I'll just have you in back. When we get to any issues, we can always talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Please.
Yes, Judge. On January 25th, 2025, at approximately 1:18 p.m., the officer was dispatched to Katy City Park in Harris County, Texas, in regards to a male drinking in public. Dispatch notes described a Hispanic male wearing black pants and a black and gold jacket. Upon arrival, the officers observed a person matching that description walking away from a field where the suspect was reported being suspicious. The officers met with a witness who observed the defendant walking towards the parking lot and west of the field, and then the officer made contact with the defendant and observed him appearing intoxicated, slurred speech, incoherent speech, unsteady without the ability to stand, and the defendant was detained, and the defendant was uncooperative and made demands ensuring the officer of street accreditations, and a pat down was then conducted. The defendant was in possession of an amoxicillin bottle with the defendant's name on it. The bottle contained illegal contents. In the bottle was a pinkish, orangey, unknown pill and a white pill. The white pill was recognized from training experience as Xanax with a weight of 0.29 grams.
What's he doing, walking while Hispanic, you know?
What?
Really?
Your Honor, there was a report of a person drinking in public, and then there was a witness who saw him walking to the parking lot, and then they observed, they gave a description, and he matched that description.
Let's do this. I'm not ready to roll on your case. Let's wait for your lawyer to get here. I'm gonna have him look at everything, and then we'll go from there. Do you mind?
All right.
Okay, you got it, man.
Judge, you wanted me to appoint someone?
No. I think he said he has Valle, but,
Robert Diaz.
yeah. Nwanko. Nambi, Nwanko, come on up. Good morning, sir. Sir, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The complainant and the defendant are roommates. On January 25th, 2025, the officers were dispatched to a disturbance call. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, who stated that she and the defendants are roommates and that the defendant was crouching down with his phone when she touched his phone to indicate for him to move. The defendant then struck her in the face with a closed fist, causing pain and a small cut to her lip. The officer then observed a small cut to the complainant's lip.
Sir, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. There's a protective order that has been issued in this case. I would get to know it. If you violate this protective order, they can file additional charges against you. A violation of protective order is one of the worst cases you can pick up. Do we know if she wants to have contact with Alex?
He attempted to reach out, but no success.
Until I know that she wants to have contact with you, I'm ordering you not to have contact with her. You're not to be in possession of weapons as well. Do you understand? If you violate these conditions, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Would you like a lawyer, sir? I need you to fill out an application for me. I'll have you talk to someone today. I'm going to have bond conditions created for you to sign. Do not leave until you sign the bond conditions. Otherwise, I'm going to issue a warrant for arrest. But we'll provide you a lawyer today. All right? Good morning, Miss Orange. Ma'am, you're charged with driving while your license is suspended. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On January 24, 2025, the officer conducted a motor vehicle check on the defendant's vehicle while traveling on the 7500 block of West 1960 Road in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed the registration to be expired as of January 2024 and no valid financial responsibility on the vehicle. A traffic stop was initiated and the officer made contact with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle. The officer conducted a person check on the defendant and saw her driver's license was suspended as of February 1st, 2024, and she was identified with the Texas ID.
All right, Miss Orange, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance. But if I find that you drive, it's going to go really, really wrong between us. Do you understand? I'm going to have you sign an affidavit. This is a promise that you're going to make to me that you're not going to drive. I don't care if there's a burning building with 50 kittens that need to be saved. Do not drive. Do you understand? Deputy, do you mind getting this, sir, please? I'm giving you now the number to the driver's license division to DPS. This is the number that you need to call to figure out what you need to do to get your license back. When you call them, call at 7 in the morning. Do not call at 8:01. Do not call at 9:50, 1:03. You'll never get through because the lines are so jam-packed. You need to call the minute the phone lines open up, which is at 7 in the morning. They can tell you what you need to do to get your license back. If you get it back and you show me that you also have insurance, I will take this restriction off of you. Trust me, do not drive. Do you understand?
Yes.
You need a lawyer to represent you in this case. Would you like me to give you a court-appointed lawyer? Okay, I will give you one. I need you to fill out an application for me. I'm gonna have you swear to us that you're not gonna drive. After that, I'll get you to Victoria, sign and reset, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box where we'll find your lawyer. Okay? Please. You are Ms. Patterson?
Yes,
And you are charged with criminal trespass of a habitation or shelter. As such, it's kicked up to a Class A misdemeanor. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On January 24th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to an apartment regarding a family disturbance. The officer made contact with the complainant, and the complainant was in a former dating relationship with the defendant and stated the defendant had been banging on the door of her apartment since January 23rd, 2025. The defendant had not made any threats or said anything besides banging on the front door. The officer observed the defendant moving around the rear seats of the complainant's motor vehicle, and the complainant approached the vehicle and claimed ownership and identified the defendant as the person inside. The complainant stated she recently got the vehicle, had not let the defendant borrow the vehicle or use it in any manner. The complainant also stated she secured all the seats, and the defendant stated the motor vehicle was already unlocked and the officer did not observe any signs of forced entry. So in this case, the trespasses of the vehicle. And that is how the information is pled as well, Your Honor.
I don't know if that counts as a habitation,
And Your,
shelter, super fund,
Your Honor,
car.
as the information reflects, the charge is just criminal trespass with the vehicle being alleged to be the trespass. There's no mention of a
I
habitation.
get it, but you kicked it up. Like if it was a class B, okay. But in this case, the intake made it a class A by saying it's, typically this enhancement is reserved for a structure, right? Like a house, an apartment, a shelter. I don't know if a car counts. Let's look it up. Yep, it includes vehicle. Habitation means a structure or a vehicle that is adapted for the overnight accommodation of persons and includes each separately secured or occupied portion of the structure or vehicle, and each structure appertaining to or connected with the structure or vehicle. Vehicle includes any device in, on, or by which any person or property is or may be propelled, moved, or drawn in the normal course of commerce or transportation. Except such devices as are classified as habitation. Okay, all right. Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with this person and not to go where they live. Do you understand? The complaining witness in this case.
That's where I live. And they here
Do
today.
this, I'm going to appoint you a lawyer today.
Okay,
And we'll have you guys work out the kinks. The only thing I want is I don't want you to have contact with the complaining witness in this case. No weapons and not to go where they live or where they work. Do you understand? Unless I know that they want to have contact with you. So we're going to find out. Have you done a rip?
No, Your Honor, we haven't had a chance to. We can reach out now, see.
So
She's
we're going to need a
here.
little bit of time.
she's
Here,
here.
Your Honor.
So let's do this. Let me appoint your lawyer now.
Okay,
She's back there in the head.
Okay.
We'll have you guys talk, but for the meantime, I'm gonna have you sign a receipt of Victoria. We'll have you take your seat in the jury box, okay? Please,
Judge, did you say so?
please. And then, so you saw who that is?
Yes, Judge.
Go ahead and sign.
Can you approach?
Okay, yeah.
Patterson?
Hi, Harold.
Thank you, Megan.
Mr. Landrino, always a pleasure. How are you, man?
Yes, sir. Good to see you, Judge. So I'm one of your MAC attorneys today, Judge, and I have a couple clients, but on Miss Patterson, she's
Yes,
struggle. It's a trespassing case,
okay.
and it's a little weird, but I think you might have issued conditions for no contact at all.
Okay,
And we're going to ask if the state was in agreement to change that to no threatening, harassing, assaultive contact.
so my thing is that I always want to honor the wishes of the complaining witness. If they're okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
I spoke with the complainant and she's fine with them living together and still contact. It's just no threatening, harassing being.
Where's Miss Patterson? Come up, Miss Patterson. So, got it, yeah. So I will amend your conditions to order you not to have any threatening or harassing contact. What you need to understand, what is threatening or harassing doesn't matter what you think. It's what she perceives. So is this threatening or harassing? It most certainly is, and it can land you in jail. So I don't know what kind of relationship you have, but if it's one that you're constantly butting heads, be careful, because you're the one that's going to end up in jail if there's another fight and she comes up and she starts complaining. Do you understand?
yes, sir.
Okay, done. All right, so you file it, we'll sign it, and then you guys are free to go. And one more thing, you must stay in touch with Mr. Landrino. If
Yes.
he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you've gone AWOL, I'm gonna issue a warrant for your arrest. Don't pick up a new case. Okay, good luck.
It's written out.
Okay.
Did you make that change?
Jawad Akoji?
Señor, yo soy su intérprete. Por favor,
Good morning,
conteste.
Mr. Orellana.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Pagar un abogado,
Yeah,
uno-
good. On January 25th,
El
2025,
25 de enero del 25,
the officer arrived on
oficiales
scene
llegaron al
and made
sitio,
contact with another
hicieron
officer
contacto
who had
con
been
otro
en route to a
oficial que había
burglary
estado en camino
and
a un
observed the
robo,
defendant's
y observó
vehicle
el vehículo
traveling
del
in the middle
acusado
of a
viajando
two-way
en
road.
medio de una
That
carrera de
officer
dos
had pulled over to
sentidos.
the right as far
El
as
oficial
possible,
había
slowed
parado a la
down,
derecha lo
and
más
the defendant
posible,
still struck
paró,
the patrol vehicle
y el
on the
acusado
front left
todavía
side.
así le pegó a la
The
patrullera
officer
en la parte del
stated
frente
that the motor vehicle
izquierda.
continued to
Dijo
drive,
que el
turned into an
vehículo de
apartment
motor
complex,
siguió manejando,
and the officer
volteó
pulled
entre
up behind the
apartamento
vehicle
de
as it was waiting for the
complejo
gate to
apartamento,
open.
entonces
The defendant
estaba
exited the
esperando que
vehicle,
abrieran
and the
el
officer made
portón.
contact with the defendant.
Entonces el oficial hizo
The
contacto
defendant
con el
stated he did not
acusado.
know who he
El
had
acusado
struck,
dijo que no sabía
and
quién
the
había
officer
pegado,
observed red
que
glossy eyes,
los
slurred
ojos
speech,
rojizos, el
a
labio
strong odor of an
afectado
alcoholic
y un
beverage.
fuerte olor de bebida
Standard field
alcohólica.
sobriety tests were
Hicieron las pruebas
administered.
de campo.
HGN,
El
6 out of 6.
HSM 6 de un
Walk and
6,
turn, 5 out of
caminar y
8.
voltear 5 de
One
un
leg
8,
stand, 2 out of
parado de una
4.
pierna 2 de
The
4.
defendant read the
El
DIC
acusado
and
le
considered a
dieron,
breath.
le dio
The
permiso
results were
para su aliento. Los
.141
resultados fueron
and
.141
.145.
y 145.
Mr. Oriana, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of illegal drugs, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds for you.
And there's no license on file, Your Honor.
Try to be honest.
No prior, Your Honor.
Okay. If you do not have a Texas driver license and liability insurance, Mr. Oriana, you are not allowed to drive. You will be signing a promise with me today. I hope you take this seriously. This is the only warning that you will get. I don't know what your immigration status in this country is, but if you're not in this country with permission, and you go to jail for any kind of any kind of period of time, it's very possible that immigration finds you, puts a detainer on you, and you will be stuck in custody until this case is over with, and then you will be shipped off to immigration. Do you understand?
Lo entiendo.
Do not
Yes.
drive, do not consume alcohol or illegal drugs. Otherwise, it's not going to end well for
No
you.
le va a ir bien a usted.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Tell me, did
Dígame.
you want to apply for a court appointed lawyer?
¿Quiere solicitar un abogado de planta?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, I will
Ya
give you an
está bien. Le voy a dar
application.
una aplicación.
I will take a look at it,
Entonces la
see
miro.
whether you
A
qualify
ver si
for,
usted
I'm
cualifica para un abogado.
gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. I will get you to Victoria where you will sign a reset. You will then get with Fatima for your bond conditions, and after that, we'll have you take a seat in the jury box, sir. Please.
All right, Judge, next is page. You can sign your conditions.
What is your last name, sir?
Alfaro.
Page 1,
Okay, you are Ricardo Alfaro. Mr. Alfaro, you are charged with harassing communication. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On August 26, 2022, the officer was dispatched to a harassment call and met with the complainant, who explained she had broken up with the defendant on August 20th after dating 2.5 years. The defendant came to the complainant's parents' home early in the morning of August 21st and began knocking on the door and refused to leave. The defendant got into an altercation with the complainant's brother, and the complainant then went to work, where she received phone calls and text messages. The complainant responded in text asking for the defendant to stop contacting her. And over the next 2 days, the defendant continued to text the complainant asking to just talk. On August 24th, the complainant went to the defendant's apartment to retrieve her belongings, and upon returning to her parents' house, the complainant observed the defendant circle the area. On August 25th, the complainant's father observed the defendant parked down the street in his vehicle. 5 p.m. that day, the complainant's friend observed the defendant had been driving past the complainant's apartment, and the complainant observed the defendant driving around her parents' neighborhood and parked outside for a while before leaving. The defendant then attempted to contact the complainant by phone and text messages, as well as driving to the complainant's place of work, and contacted the complainant's work asking to speak with the complainant. The complainant stated she has received 50 calls and approximately 100 text messages, as well as 15 to 20 calls from some unknown number.
Alfaro, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward into your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case. Do you understand? I don't care what you're doing. I don't care where you're going. I don't care what color you are. If I find that you try to have any kind of contact, I'm gonna put you in jail. Do you understand? How old are you, sir?
25.
Did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer, sir? Okay. Can you file the conditions, no contact and no weapons, please? I'm gonna give you an application now. I'm gonna have you sign a reset with Victoria, then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box. I'm gonna find your lawyer. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions. Do you understand? Okay, please.
Go ahead and sign for your reset. This is 21, Sims is the last name.
Colby Sims, come up.
Right.
Oh. Good morning, Mr. Sims. Sir, you're charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 24th, 2025, the officer responded to a minor accident at the 8700 block of Fairbanks North in Houston, Texas, Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the complainant, who stated he was driving his vehicle, was at an intersection, and the defendant was blowing his horn at him to turn, and the complainant could not make a right turn due to the truck being in front of him. The complainant stated once he did turn right on the Fairbanks, he began to drive north in the first lane of traffic, and the defendant drove in the second lane. The defendant began to weave in and out of the lane in an attempt to make the complainant collide with the defendant's vehicle. The complainant stated the defendant made an unsafe lane change, causing him to rear-end the defendant. The defendant began to drive north on Fairbanks Road, brake checked the complainant again, causing him to collide with the defendant's vehicle. The complainant stopped his vehicle, exited, and the defendant did the same, and both began to verbally argue. The defendant accused the complainant of rear-ending his vehicle, and the officer made contact with the defendant, who stated he was driving north when the complainant collided with his vehicle. The defendant stated he noticed the complainant's odd behavior in the rearview mirror when he was struck the second time and had to brake due to heavy traffic. The complainant told the officer that traffic was light, and a witness stated he observed the defendant's vehicle continuously weaving in and out of the complainant's lane while brake checking the complainant.
You said odd behavior.
And
Any
that's,
kind of allegation of alcohol or dope?
no, Your Honor, and that was the statement the defendant made to the officer, that he observed the complainant have odd behavior.
Oh, I see.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Sims, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. You were on bond for a very serious felony case of evading a motor vehicle, and now you've picked up a reckless driving. I'm taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't give a rat's behind what is going on in this life. If I find that you drive, because I'm going to have you sign an affidavit with me today, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. It's an offense in and of itself. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you consume alcohol and kind of illegal drugs, likewise, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail.
Gabriel Hernandez.
How old, sir?
Fine. I'm turning 19 next month.
I will appoint you a lawyer today. I'm telling you now, if I find that you drive, and I don't care what the reason is, it's really not going to go well for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind reaching out to the max? I appoint a lawyer, please. I'm gonna
Okay.
have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. I'm gonna get you to Victoria, sign a reset, then you'll get with Fatima for your bond conditions, and then I'll have you take a seat while we find you a lawyer.
All right, Judge, next is page 21. Smith, come on up.
Jane Wilson's, just also confirm that you.
You say Smith?
Smith. Judge, was this what's going
No, appoint. Come up, man. Right up. You're Miss Tamika Smith?
Yes, sir.
Man, you're charged with, excuse me, terroristic threat. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. we're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 24th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to a disturbance with a weapon call at an apartment complex in Harris County, Texas. The call slip advised a black female in a red wig possibly had a firearm. The officer observed the defendant matching the description, and the officer made contact with the complainant, who stated she lives in an apartment across from the defendant. The defendant and she had several verbal arguments in the past, and that morning they also had an argument. The defendant began yelling and screaming at the complainant from a parking lot in front of the apartment, and the defendant told the complainant, "I'm going to shoot you, bitch." And the complainant stated the defendant further made threats to shoot the home along with the kids inside after the complainant retreated inside the residence. The complainant was in fear for serious bodily injury or death, and the complainant provided security camera footage where a female voice was heard yelling, "I'll shoot your home and your kids too."
And I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case.
Yes, sir.
Ordering you not to have contact with this person.
Yes, sir.
I'm also ordering you not to have any possession of any weapons as well.
Yes, sir.
If I find that you violate these conditions, I only have one place. I'm going to revoke your bond.
Understood. Yes, sir.
Would you like a lawyer today, ma'am?
Yes, please.
I'll appoint a lawyer. I'm going to have you sign a reciprocatory. We'll have you take your signature box. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, please.
Right this way.
So can you file no contact, no weapons?
Yes, Judge.
Hi, of course.
Okay, I'm
Happy
here on
Friday.
a off-docket matter, Ms. Keys. 2548155. You sent me an email a couple of days ago.
Oh,
about
right,
her.
right. Okay.
But the issue is that I'm asking you to open up, I'm here to request that you open up her curfew so she can take her son to school. So that's why she had left 10 minutes early, but she said she's out the house
Okay.
at 5:30 and she's here today.
Okay, come up, ma'am.
Oh, and that's another. After the city.
Let me just repeat the cost number one.
Okay, 2548155.
5481.
So what would you like?
I'm asking, I have the scram on and I have the monitor on, and for the curfew, I'm asking, my son has to be to school at 6 o'clock, and my curfew is 7. He plays basketball, he's in sports, so they have
I got it.
practice before school,
No,
and he goes
I-
to school out of district, so I'm asking if I can have 5:30.
Okay,
I take him to school and I come right back home, and I don't have a problem with my curfew. And then I wanted to also ask, with the scram and with the monitor on, if you can reinstate my driving privileges, because twice my son has been late
oh,
to school.
Well, I was gonna pull her record,
I don't know what your driving record is. I
Right.
mean,
yeah, I didn't know about her privileges. I know she has an interlock device, but I didn't know that
I
her
don't have an
privileges
interlock
were.
device.
so-
I don't have an interlock device.
All right, Your
Oh,
Honor.
you don't?
No, because I don't have a car. So, but my sister let me use her
Why are
car
you saying
No.
you don't have driving privileges?
because when I came to court, I thought
He
took
told
me.
you not to drive. Okay, I
Yeah, he
gotta
told
look
me
at your bond
not, yeah, he told me
conditions.
not to
Okay.
drive into court. And so,
As
I
a note, Your
can't
Honor, it's
afford
eligible
to.
with the last suspension ending in April
read
2024.
read me the dims, please.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. So on January 18th, 2024, the officer observed a vehicle failing to drive in a single lane at the 8600 block of West Grant Parkway. The defendant was swerving in and out of 2 lanes and came close to crashing into another vehicle in the next lane. A traffic stop was conducted, and the officer made contact with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle. The officer observed disorientation, a moderate odor of an alcoholic beverage, and slurred speech. The defendant could not provide an ID or insurance, and the officer observed an open container of alcohol on the floorboard next to her feet. The defendant stated she had not consumed alcohol, and the officer observed slow movements and unsteadiness on her feet. Center field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 8 out of 8, one leg stand 2 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.29 and 0.294.
Does she have any other open DWIs or anything?
This is the one where she has an open DWI out of Austin County.
That's why. You have 2 open DWIs. I don't want you driving. You're not allowed to drive. If I find that you drive, I'm gonna have a contempt hearing. So I hope above all else, you are not driving. You heed this warning, Ms. Keys. You are not allowed to drive. If I find that you're driving someone else's car in violation, you're looking at 6 months in jail every single time you have signed an affidavit promising you that you're not gonna drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. You have 2 open DWIs. There's alcohol in the car allegedly. Unacceptable.
And then opening up my privilege is the reason why I asked it, because also, unless I sign over custody of my kid, I'm the only one that can sign him to school. So what's been going on is I have to ride with her to drop him off, and then she brings me back.
Okay.
I have not
I will-
violated any
If you
conditions
want
of
me
my
to
bond.
open up the curfew, I
Okay.
will, but
Okay.
I don't want you driving. Do you understand?
Yes.
There is a method to our madness here. And 2 open DWIs, a .2 with alcohol in the car tells me that there is an issue. The last thing I want is someone dead. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I will open it up to 5:30. I hope, because imagine what's can happen to your child if you go to jail and I make your bond $50,000 and you don't have anyone to make it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, just
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
May we be excused?
Yes, please.
Does she need to sign new?
She will need to sign yes, the condition, yes. Hi, Joseph. What's new, man?
May I approach on an off docket matter?
Of course, come on up. What's your cause number?
254-7203.
Okay? On Joaquin
Oh,
Hernandez.
like Ian 13.
Yes, so, at his arraignment setting, you ordered no driving as a bond condition. And I
Okay.
wanted to see if we could revisit that. My,
It's been about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
right, I mean, he's got no prior criminal history.
Mhm.
My colleague was here, so I wasn't here for the whole thing. But
Get
I,
alcohol in the car while he was driving.
okay,
I don't know. I mean, I'm asking.
yeah,
you.
there was an open container.
Yes,
Okay.
Judge, there was a 12-ounce Mitchell of Old Park Coldswood Cut as well as a plastic margarita to go.
Have a good one.
So I had him take an 8-hour, they called it a level 1 DUI risk reduction program, which he completed on January 29th.
Is he here?
I tried to fit this in earlier this week on docket. I've been really busy, so I didn't tell him to come today.
I would like to talk to him though, because I want to know how it has impacted him so that he knows that we mean business and that, so, and I'm here every day. So Joseph, whenever you want to come in, but I want to hear it from him, because I want him to understand that, it's freaking elementary that you're not supposed to have that. You know what I mean? I appreciate the proactivity and I like it. Let me talk to him and then,
I'll let him know. I mean, it's really hurting him for obviously for work purposes.
that's what I want to know, right?
Right.
And that's what I want.
He drives, he has a.
I remember this is a guy that kept coming back and forth asking, was this that gentleman?
I wasn't here. My colleague Catherine McCready was.
That's what, then it is, because I remember, yes, because he was like beside himself that I took the privilege to drive away. And she came like 4 or 5 different times asking me to, please relent, please let it, So great. Well, no, because I'm, the idea is to get him to realize, man, you can't be doing shit. You know what I mean? So, which is great, which is, we're thankful for. No, because I want him to realize what it is to not be able to drive. And I think that people would appreciate it more because living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive really, really sucks.
Oh, yeah.
It really sucks, especially when you need it to work, and hopefully this will,
Okay.
and it looks like it has.
Oh, yeah, no, he's taking everything very seriously, Judge.
Great. Have him come and then I will.
I'll see you. Yeah, I think we can do it on Monday.
Okay, I'm here. Yeah, for sure, Joseph. Come on up.
How are you?
Pretty good. How's it? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I'm here on behalf of Mr. Colby Sims. You just kind of talked to him about the reckless driving charge and he's on a pretrial intervention or something for an evading arrest.
Yeah, he's on no. He has an open felony evading in a motor vehicle and now he's picked up a reckless driving where there was an accident. And
I'm not challenging the probable cause, Your Honor. Just you gave him no driving conditions. He goes to a special school. He has Asperger's. Parents work first shift. They're under, dad has had to take off work all week, go in late to take him to school and then leave early to take him home. They live about 8 miles from the school. And we just want to know if you could modify.
No, it was, I mean, if you, the facts here, it's a alleged menace. I mean, the facts of this case are really bad. I mean, there was an accident because of the
Driving, Your Honor, and I don't know everything about the case, but.
Hold on, come up, Mr. Sims. I'd like you to hear it so that you get
Yeah, I saw the summary. I saw the summary. I know that there's a dash cam on his vehicle. And I believe the state they have the SD card. But what it purports to show is that he wasn't weaving in and out of traffic. He was hit from the back, Your Honor.
when you told me the facts here, he hit the other person, or did he brake check and then he got?
And then,
Okay,
yes.
so you need to understand that you live in Houston. And when you get into these road rage incidents like this, people get shot and killed with events like this. And the reason I did this is because this is not the first contact that we have of a serious nature where other lives are in danger, but we now have also a felony evading arrest in a motor vehicle. And the last thing I want is another death on the road. I understand that you have obligations. I understand that, but the last thing I want is someone to get injured, you killed, or where you've dug yourself in such a hole that you're stuck like Chuck in custody because of some. I understand that you have stuff, but I don't want you in a car. You're a danger in a car. Now, it's not absolute. If I see after a while that you appreciate it and you show me that you have taken proactive measures, and I'll let your lawyer explain it to you. Nothing's ever set in stone, but you scare me in a car.
Your Honor, would I be allowed to come back at a later date to address?
Yes, of course, counsel.
Active.
Yes, absolutely. And we do that all the time.
Okay.
But the idea is driving is a privilege. It is not a right. The right is you can walk, but not to drive. And every day someone dies in Houston because of something in a car. And I'm going to try to prevent that at all costs. Okay. So whenever you're ready, come back, let me know, and then we can talk again about it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Absolutely.
Approach.
Yes, counsel.
10 and 11.
Page 10, 11, 12, and 13, more like it, right? Mr. Martinez, you were charged with evading arrest, theft, failure to identify oneself, driving while intoxicated, and you also have a felony theft of a firearm. What are we doing?
He is pleading guilty to DWI and evading, 30, credit for 23, and then they are going to dismiss the felony. That's why Herman's here. He's on the felony.
So, well, they're going to dismiss what, the felony
Once
theft?
he pleads, they're going to dismiss the felony, yes.
So we're going forward on the DWI and the evading.
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Mr. Martinez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated and evading arrest. On the DWI, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. On the evading arrest, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 30 days in jail with credit for the 23 days. He actually has 26 days credit.
It's 26 days on one and 26 on the other.
Okay. You need to understand that these charges will go on your record. The evading arrest is an enhanceable offense. If you ever run from the cops again, you will be charged with a felony offense. Do you understand?
Sir.
The DWI is also going on in your record as well. So if you ever get pulled over by an officer, they're going to look up your record. They're gonna see, man, this guy's got a lot of baggage on his record. If they smell alcohol or if they smell dope on you, what do you think they're gonna do?
Probably not. They're gonna pick me up.
From now on, you are facing a minimum of 90 days in jail. Any new cases that you pick up. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Even if you've had a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because you were taking a humongous risk.
Sir.
You understand?
Or drugs. Or
Anything.
drugs.
When I informed Mr. Martinez,
Okay, any
just for your
drugs, you said.
purposes, even though
Or
he's
about-
getting his theft dismissed, it's gonna be based on a conviction on another case, so it's not expungable. The statute does not allow that case to be expunged,
Which one?
the theft of a firearm.
You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't think any of the cases. Or wait a second, hold on a second.
Separate, the ones that are separate transactions, Your Honor.
All three are out of the same
Okay,
transaction.
well then, yeah.
Yeah, so the evading, theft, failure to ID, all those are based out of the same transaction because none of the cases can be expunged. So the ones that are dismissed, they're gonna stay on there, they'll be dismissed. But the others will reflect as a conviction on your record. That's what I'm saying. From now on, it's a minimum of 90 days in jail for anything that you pick up here in misdemeanor court. You understand? You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, you can never change this or undo this. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
This is what you want to do. How do you plead to both of the cases, guilty or not guilty?
Good, sir.
I want you to understand one more thing, Mr. Martinez, that DWI is big business in Harris County. There's a $3,000 surcharge that normally would apply to this. I'm not going to stick it on you now because it's a first offense, but on a second DWI, you're looking at a $6,000 surcharge that you get hit on a second DWI. Get a clue, take an Uber. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive until you get a license. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Just so I know, with the time on that, are you running a concurrent with his ALR suspension?
No, no. He's got 5 open cases. What else you want? A ribbon too? No,
Good to ask.
no.
Okay.
You have a license suspension. You're not allowed to drive.
I was trying to ask you about that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
No, that's
Do you have, yeah, just sit down.
All right, thank you.
Do you have ribbons to give out, Judge? Do you have ribbons?
Get your brother.
He's a cousin.
Brother, right here.
here.
Yeah, wait.
Well, Lawnards, what do you think about Judge Fleischer? And what do you think about Fun Court with Fleischer? Does he have the right benchside manner, if you will? This week was a bit light, but there will be much more content to choose from next week, so look forward to episode 2. In the meantime, let me know in the comments what you think. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy watching this content, please like and subscribe. It helps new channels like this one gain exposure. There is a lot more good court to come, so if you like what you saw, tell your friends. If you didn't, tell me, and let me know what you'd like to see and how I can improve. Thanks.